Hello and welcome to the Eurogamer Show. Sorry we're not in the studio this week, only Aoife got turned into this cat and she didn't like being under the studio lights. Did you, Aoife? This week Aoife asked why we're so obsessed with sequels, and then No Time to Explain Remastered makes me very, very angry. First though, it's over to fellow human being Chris to see what's been happening this week.
Hello, so Eurogamer is based in Brighton, which is quite nice actually. It's got a beach and a bunch of vegetarian stuff, and this week it hosted a conference called Develop, which is for and about video game developers. And yeah, although we didn't go there in any kind of video capacity ourselves, there were a bunch of people to make games in town, so I figured we'd grab one for the show, and I got a good one. His name is Tom Francis. He made Gunpoint and is also working on a game called Heat Signature, which we're going to be taking a look at, I think early next week at some point. But before then, I wanted to chat about something else that he works on, which is a video tutorial series about making games from scratch with no experience. It's really quite good. I've messed around with it myself, and I thought it might be something cool to share with those of you that watch the show.
And now we can see our player. We can't control him or do anything, because we haven't told it how to do that, but the player exists. We now have one object, one room, and one sprite, and that's all we need to explain the basics.
I wanted to do like a full arc from writing a first line of code to releasing the game that you made, and probably won't be a good game. Certainly the example game we made is not good.
Sure.
But it was important to kind of show every stage of the process, at least for one type of game. And obviously there are loads of things you might need to know for doing other types of games, and maybe I'll cover some of those in individual episodes later, but these 25, it's about 16 hours of actual video, will get you there.
Gunpoint was made in GameMaker, which is the software that you're talking about throughout this series. Something that you can try for free. There's a trial version that lets you really find out if you want to do this or not, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty generous now. The whole tutorial just uses the free version, so you don't need you don't need to buy anything to follow it. And obviously, I bought it for Gunpoint and Heat Signature. But yeah, you can do almost everything with the free version, and it's just, if you want to publish a professional game, you probably want to get the full thing, because then you don't have like a big logo at the start.
Yeah, that says made in GameMaker.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember seeing that in Gunpoint. But that is one of the huge selling points of this series, is that, that people can look at Gunpoint and go, this is possible with the thing that I've got in front of me. Yeah. Obviously, it's not the only step involved, but you have the tools.
I remember it being a kind of concern in my mind when I was making Gunpoint, as to, like, once it started to seem like something I could sell, you start to think, but can you just sell a game maker game? Is that the thing that can be done? Obviously, there were, like, Hotline Miami came out during Gunpoint's development, and
that's probably a good example to be able to follow.
Yeah, that was a kind of a big relief, like someone's done it.
Yeah. So I've dabbled in this tutorial myself. I made a really terrible asteroids game, which I will include like a GIF of somewhere here. And what kind of examples have people sent in to you, like, now towards the end of the tutorial? What have people made?
They've been doing some amazing stuff. Loads of people have, like, obviously a lot of people are just following the tutorial as I do it, like making the same game I am, but lots of people branch off, and people have said to me, like, it's been a fun extra challenge to, after they've gone way off what I told them to do, in the next episode, see if they can, like, bash it back into shape so that they can build off it in the same way. So they've done, one guy's made an amazing thing where it's like, you have control like a swarm of these shard things, and you sort of use them to bash down bits of the scenery and then expand your swarm of shards. And
that doesn't sound like a what you were talking about.
No, I didn't tell this guy how to do that. Another guy's done this thing where it's like a top-down desert explorer type thing, and you throw rocks at like cactus dudes, and then you go inside a cave, and it just becomes a side-on platformer.
I've seen that,
beautifully animated, and with like hideous, weird enemies, and don't know how he's done it. Lots of them have done things that I don't know how to do.
That's pretty cool. That's probably the biggest, the best thing you can say about that. People have been able to kind of go past what you've shown them.
Yeah,
that's cool. And yeah, so if people want to check it out themselves, it's on your YouTube channel, which is just Tom Francis, right?
No, youtube.com/Pentadact.
Okay, right. And you can find the whole thing there. It's worth jumping in with the first episode, getting the trial version, and just seeing if it's something that interests you. And I think you'll know whether or not it is your kind of thing pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I start with, is like, it won't be easy to make a game, but it'll be easy to find out whether you should.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, go check that out, I think. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Now, before that travelling warlock turned Aoife into a cat, yes, I am still running with this joke, she did at least have time to make one last feature on video games. Didn't you?
was the last time you played a totally new game? Not a remake or a sequel or a re-release, but something completely original.
I think we lost.
You probably had to think about that for a second, didn't you?
Yeah? We can never, ever come back to this ship.
All these things are commonplace and have been for a while now, of course, but it seems like since the transition from the last to current generation of consoles, there's been a serious lack of originality to our gaming industry. How many of the games you've played recently have felt like, or literally are, something you've played before? Take this year's E3 for example. Yes, we had a couple of pretty cool looking new titles like Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last Guardian and ReCore, but the event was dominated by remasters, remakes, reimaginings and sequels. Two of the biggest, most exciting games of Sony's conference, for example, were Final Fantasy VII, a remake of an almost 20-year-old game, and Shenmue 3.
Shenmue experience you have dreams of.
Xbox wasn't much better. Its E3 offerings focused on sequels like Rise of the Tomb Raider, Halo 5 and Gears of War 4.
Made it.
Elsewhere, Bethesda's Fallout 4 stole the show. And we all know that original games are something of a rarity over at Nintendo. So what's the deal? Are we stuck in a nostalgia loop? Well, I guess, kind of. Gaming is still a relatively young industry, but many of the first generations who grew up with games are still playing, still want to see the characters and stories they grew up with, and perhaps now want to share those with their own children. And graphical quality has increased so drastically in such a short space of time that people are keen to see their favourite games get a new coat of paint. Or a few extra bells and whistles added on just for the fun of it. And it also presents developers a chance to right the wrongs of the past, as it were, to correct the mistakes or shortcomings of the original game on updated technology, or to kind of fudge it, as was the case with the recent Master Chief Collection's online functionality on Xbox One.
Take the lead.
The problem with a lot of new games, at least the ones coming from the bigger development studios, is that they just cost too much. When there's millions of pounds at stake, it's not surprising that publishers would prefer to play it safe and not take a risk with new titles, instead sticking with characters and franchises proven to be popular and profitable.
Whatever the cost.
Just this week, we've had a prototype collection and a God of War 3 remaster released, and Rare's Replay compilation is launching in just a few weeks. It doesn't look like the deja vu is slowing up anytime soon, but how much is too much? Do all these remasters get in the way of actual new games and stymie the industry's creativity? Does it bother you?
God damn it.
Chuck us a comment below and let us know.
Switching to all range mode. Let's take the offensive.
Alright, that's almost it from me, just time for one little extra. You may remember last week we brought you footage of Ian sucking at Rocket League, and I felt like that docked us some prestige. No Time to Explain Remastered came out on Steam this week, so I decided to jump into the game, test my mettle, conquer it, and win back our renown. It went not well.
I am you from the future. There's no time to explain. Follow me to... Oh, Christ! Ah!
No time for exposition, more like.
My ribs are in my eyes! They're in my eyes!
Ow. 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 No. There we go. Oh, Christ. What is... Ow. Ow. What has happened? Damn it. Come on. Oh, Ow.
Where are my legs? And my outsides are in pain! Gambling is dangerous! Gambling must be quick
Daddy. Fuck. I nearly had that. Oh, yes. Oh. Oh, really? Come on. Yes! Oh, seriously though, screw that game. Anyway, that's all we got time for this week, so thank you very much for subscribing, and we'll see you next week, when hopefully Aoife will be back in human form.
What is this place? How did I get here?
As a big fan of video game horror, I've been looking forward to Soma for quite a long time now. Frictional's previous release, Amnesia, is quite possibly the most frightening game ever made,